The Supreme Court has decided to stay the High Court's decision to scrap the UP Madrassa Act. This comes as a huge relief to lakhs of students in Uttar Pradesh. And of course, remember, the Allahabad High Court had said that this act is unconstitutional as it violates principles of secularism. Tanishq Punjabi is tracking this story very closely and he joins us live. So Tanishq, again, break it down for us. What does this mean on the ground for, lakhs of students in Uttar Pradesh?
Vedant, let's start from the Allahabad High Court's judgment. A plea was filed by a person named Anshuman saying that the Madarsa Act of 2004, which was enacted in, of course, 2004, violates the basic principle of secularism. This was primarily, the overall argument made by Mr. Anshuman, to which, of course, the party was the UP Madrassa Board, and there were several associate parties as well, like the Teachers Association of the Madrasa Board, and different parties. Now, after the Allahabad High Court, in its judgment around a week back, said that the Madarsa Law Act of 2004 violates the basic principle of secularism. This was one of the main takeaways from the Allahabad High Court's judgment. Now, at that point of time, the respondents, of course, said that the Madrasa Board and, of course, other parties said that the matter will, of course, go to the Supreme Court as well. Now, today the Supreme Court has clearly said that, of course, it is prima facie wrong, and there could be the Supreme Court has clearly said that the ban has been stayed down by the Supreme Court. Yes. Now, talking about the number of students it affects, there are around 8,000 madrasas that run across the Uttar Pradesh, which are, of course, recognized by the Madarsa Board. There are several thousands which are not recognized as well. So, remember, sometime back, the Special Task Force were also conducting investigation on which all madrasas are recognized and where they get their funding from. So, right. So now the future of all these students, around 17 lakh students, was at stake. Not just students. Apart from students, the teachers and, of course, the allied jobs related to the madrasas.
That's a very important point.
Of course, there was a big worry.
With us. Ashish Bhargav is also. I'll come back to you, Tanishq. Ashish Bhargav is also with us. So, Ashish, the Supreme Court, it's also important that said that the constitutionality of this act cannot be questioned. It has objections to the High Court saying that this act is unconstitutional. And apart from that, the Supreme Court also stopped the relocation of all the teachers and students. So that is, in a sense, big as well.
Yeah, we call it's a big interference by the Supreme Court in this matter. The Supreme Court clearly says that High Court, prima facie High Court was not correct to say that this Act of 2004 is unconstitutional. Also, Supreme Court bench headed by Chief Justice of India, Justice D.Y. Chandrachud, says establishment of Madarsa Board is itself will not violate the secularism, would not affect the secularism. Also, Supreme Court bench noted that apart from religious education in Madarsa, other subjects like maths, science, social studies are also taught in these madarsa. Supreme Court, by this interim order, gives relief to the more than 70 lakh students and to thousands of the teachers who are teaching in the madrasas. And Supreme Court says High Court should not go up to this way, and this order of the judgment of this High Court will be stayed till Supreme Court hear this matter in July. In second week, Supreme Court also noted that UP government was in High Court. UP government supported that 2004 Act, defended that Act, but in Supreme Court, UP government clearly supported this High Court judgment. It means that UP government now defending defending High Court judgment and opposing this 2004 Act. So it's a clear-cut. Supreme Court says it's a matter of 17 lakh students also, and we have to examine whether this Act, whether the board, Madarsa Board Act, is violative of constitutional principle of secularism. But prima facie, its view is that this High Court was in error to say this act violates the principle of secularism.
Ashish, thanks very much.
Big implication at UP. Yeah.
Absolutely, a big intervention there from the Supreme Court. Thanks very much, Ashish ji, for joining us with that update from the top court. Tanish continues to be with us. So, Tanish, as we were discussing earlier as well, and the Supreme Court has made this point today as well, that the board is, regulatory in nature, and in no way is it unconstitutional or against the principles of secularism. And there is this, in public discourse also, there is this image of a madarsa that, there's only religious education imparted there. But the petitioners during the Allahabad High Court hearing had made some important points. So sort of revisit those for us.
Yes, of course. Vedant, as you talked about, there is a image that's a public image that only religious education of only religious education to a people of a certain religion is given. But of course, the respondents in their arguments in Allahabad High Court also clearly said that the education system is open to people from all religions, students from all religion. In fact, the chairman of the Madarsa board, UP Madrassa board, also told us that there are thousands of people, thousands of students from different religious background studying in the Madarsa board. Now that is one of the main important points. Number two is, of course, the religious studies that is given there. Now, some time back, curriculum was given in, curriculum was adopted, NCERT curriculum was adopted by the Madarsa board, and teachings, and the teachings have been going on in accordance to that. Apart from that, religious education is of course given. So subjects such as social studies, mathematics, geography, science, all of them are taught regularly like in other schools in Madarsa. But apart from that, of course, religious studies are also given to the students. So a very important judgment, Vedant, remember, this impacts the lives of lakhs of students, thousands of teachers and thousands of jobs. Because when the Allahabad High Court's judgment came, there was one big concern about, there was one big concern. First, of course, the students, how will such a mass, which of course the Supreme Court also noted out that this will, disrupt the life of many students as well. How will they be inculcated into the parallel schooling system that goes on? Right. Now, apart from the students, it was of course the teachers and the jobs related to it. Yes.